2026 is the year of awakening. It's going to be the year that we truly break free from the old world, the self-sabotaging patterns and the habits that keep us stuck in a rut or repeating these same cycles like it's Groundhog Day. And in this video, I want to share with you 4 stages of awakening. So if you're going through something right now, I call it the wobble of awakening. Or if you're feeling confused, stuck or lost, or you're at a rock bottom, or if you're watching this video and you just know deep down it's time to turn your life into such an incredible adventure. You want to manifest more love, more health, more wealth, more excitement and freedom in your life in 2026. This video is for you. Because if you're watching this video, you're watching this video for a reason. And deep down, you feel it. You feel the change. You feel something pulling you towards a new reality, a new destiny. Or maybe like me, you just get excited about the future and reaching your full potential. And again, if you're going through something, maybe you're in an addiction or stuck in a dead-end job or in toxic relationship patterns, or you're eating unhealthy food and you just can't get control of your eating habits, then I want you to know that that rock bottom that you feel right now is a sign of awakening. It's a step, it's a stage that's going to help you become that person that you truly want to become and reach your full potential in 2026. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 stages of awakening. But before I do, let's just get real. You only have to look on social media for like 10 seconds to realize how mental and how bonkers this world is. We are looking at the insanity of humanity. Politicians are just like broken records. People are out there killing each other. There's war, there's genocide, or even people in their local area, in their local community are fighting over each other because of race, because of religion, or, which blows my brain, these invisible borders, or these religious texts that we've read from thousands of years ago, which were just created to control people, manipulate people, and keep the greedy and the rich people in that power. We're still fighting over stuff which just makes no sense. And when you zoom out and you truly think about this, we are on a rock, spinning in space, in multiple universes, in infinite intelligence, yet we're fighting over these invisible lines that somebody drew on the planet Earth. Or these gods and stories about religion that are in the sky, which are just bullshit. The sad thing is that we're actually killing human beings, animals, and the planet over a bunch of stories, which is basically ego. And that is the point of this video. It's why I want to talk about the 4 stages of awakening and why I believe that 2026 is the year of transformation and waking up. 2026 is a portal. It's a massive wake-up call for people that are on this journey, that are ready for change, that want change, or are going through something and they know that there's more and there's a reason that they're going through something. Or if you're anything like me that's just excited about evolving to a higher level of consciousness. Now, if you're somebody that doesn't want to change, if you're somebody that resists growing, and you want to stay stuck in your patterns, this video is not for you. If you're a victim, if you play that blame game, if you think you're just bad luck, there's something going on and it's not your fault, or you blame God or the government, or you do blame other races and religions, this video is not for you. Just save yourself some time. Don't put any negative comments and say this video is rubbish, because this video just isn't for you in the first place. Go and scroll, go and watch something else. But if you're somebody that's on the journey like I am, that just loves personal development, that loves waking up, that loves sometimes getting it wrong and seeing your own bullshit and your own ego so that you can grow and expand and evolve to a high level of life. More love, more freedom, more joy, more wealth, and consciousness, which is basically awareness, then this video is going to be perfect for you. And if you want more videos, please make sure you subscribe, share this video, because my mission is just to spread the joy and the buzz from being alive on this miracle of a rock floating in space, and just to remind people that you've only got one life. Like, let's stop fighting each other. Let's just start reaching our full potential and truly embrace it. But again, this video is not for everybody. This video is for people that truly are on this path of awakening. With that said, it doesn't mean to say that you're not going to face challenges. I still face my challenges. 2025 has been one of the hardest years for me, and I've given up drugs. I've come out of prison years ago, but this year was a massive challenge because it was all about mental health and emotional health. And if I'm really honest, seeing these shadows that were buried in my subconscious mind that I, without realizing, suppressed or blocked over the years, and they really came up this year. And the reason why I'm sharing that is because I know there's a lot of people that feel lost right now. There's a lot of people that are on a spiritual awakening, whatever you want to call it, this journey of growth and higher consciousness. There's a lot of people that are into this, and we're visualizing, we're doing our affirmations, we're meditating, breath work, we're doing yoga, we're manifesting, we're doing all the things, but we still feel confused. You might feel lost. You might have this voice, this self-doubt. You might just be repeating patterns that you thought you got rid of years ago. I know that happened to me. I was like, wow, where's this all coming from? And there's a famous quote by Carl Jung, and he basically says, unless you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. In other words, in the unconscious mind, the subconscious mind, you've got your whole programming, your philosophy for life, your beliefs from your parents, the brainwashing society put into you or the system put into you in those first 7 years of your life. And unless you change that, you're going to act and behave according to those programs and patterns. And I'm sharing that because the journey of awakening, 2026 is going to be the best year for some people. Millions of people are going to be left behind. They're going to continue fighting. They're going to be stuck in the ego, and they're going to truly suffer. Obviously, they're going to be left behind. But millions more people like us will wake up, and we will transcend to a higher level of life and consciousness. However, before you do that, you've got to make the unconscious conscious. In other words, you've got to remove everything that is holding you back from being the best version of you. You are not going to achieve your greatest results in life, have that love, that relationship, that wealth, that freedom, if you're still holding on to the old identity. And really, that's what we're talking about in this video. It's outgrowing the old identity that you never even picked. I just need to let my cat out. You're just basically going to outgrow this old identity that you never even picked. She doesn't want to go out. I shut the door because it is raining in Thailand and it sounds amazing, but I want to make sure the audio quality is good. So in other words, 2026 is going to be the best year of your life if you train yourself to believe in that, and you set your big visions and your goals, and you map out who you want to become and what you want to do. But before that becomes a reality, you're going to have to go through some challenges. You're going to have to stretch your spirit. And don't panic, when I talk about spirit, I'm not talking about Casper the Ghost or some religious bullshit. I'm basically talking about willpower or motivation. Like, spirit is your inner strength. It's not your name, it's not your body, it's not your identity. It's that spirit that's deep inside you, it's buried within you. And our job in 2026 is to awaken that spirit so that you can live your best life and just spread that joy and love with others. But more importantly, truly feel that you're on the path of awakening. I've got to pick the cat up, she's going to stop meowing. Now I feel like one of these evil bosses. Hello. But before we do that, we have to go through the rock bottoms. We have to remove the confusion, the self-doubt, the fear. And it's not a bad thing. And it's not your fault if you feel stuck and you're repeating unwanted patterns, but it is your responsibility to have a look in the unconscious and see what's still holding you back. Limiting beliefs around yourself, self-worth and self-image issues, money beliefs, negative money beliefs, toxic relationship patterns. It is easy to say, I'm always attracting somebody that's not ready for commitment, or I'm always attracting these guys that always just want to mess around, or I'm always attracting these women that are emotional. But there's always one problem in all of your problems, whether it's the relationship example or money or health. You, as the Buddha said, you are the problem, which is a hard pill to swallow, but he also said you are the solution. And so if you're always attracting somebody and you think they're crazy, well, then maybe you need to look at your craziness. If you're always trying to make some money, but I don't know, you keep getting a big tax bill or getting fined, or you lose the money because you made a decision about a business that didn't work out, or maybe it's because you've got limiting beliefs that you don't deserve it, you can't receive it, and you can't keep it. What I'm trying to say is that you're the problem, as the Buddha would say, but you're also the solution. In other words, and only you are going to save yourself. And that's so important for 2026. And it's so important for this wobble that we're going through right now. We're going through these wobbles of awakening because 2026, like I said, is a portal to a higher level of consciousness. And when you think about the brain and what consciousness is, it's kind of like an algorithm. It's just programming. And your brain is just programming. Your identity is just a program that if you want more from life, you've got to upgrade it. So in other words, we've got to change the algorithm, but you can't change the programs in the algorithm unless you remove the old programs and the old data, which would be all the limiting beliefs, the shadow selves, the unconscious patterns I was just talking about. So let me share with you these 4 stages of awakening, which I've got on my computer here, just so that you know you're not going crazy. And when you look out at society, you can see that this is actually happening, and it's as sad as this sounds, but all of the war, all of the craziness, all of the division and the hate, and all of these politicians and all these conspiracies that we're being exposed now, it's just obvious, right? And as sad as it's creating such horror and terror and carnage, it is also showing us that the world is waking up. Not only on an individual level are we having these wobbles and these confusions and these fears and these doubts, but on a collective level, we're seeing that the world is having a massive reset. And that's why 2026 is the year of a great awakening. It's not just an awakening, it's the year of a great awakening. Millions will be left behind and they will stay in the old world, but millions more like me and you will wake up and we'll experience more joy, more freedom, a higher level of love, a higher level of bliss. We will go and tap into a different dimension, which is what this channel is all about. I will share more and more techniques and meditations and guided visualizations to help you go into those states. But before we do that, we just need to understand what on earth is going on. And again, if you're in one of these stages, it might just help you to understand that what you're going through is completely natural. I just wished I had somebody guiding me through my journey when I first started. I started this journey 23 years ago in a prison cell, and I started to have this awakening, and no one was really into spirituality, the law of attraction. Or I guess they were, but it wasn't as popular as it is now because of social media, or even going vegan and not eating certain food because it just wasn't, making me feel good. People thought I was weird or in some cult. Even I thought I was going crazy because I didn't really have anyone to talk to about it. And I went off on this journey all on my own, and thankfully it was my path, and I smashed it, and I am where I am today. But it would have been amazing to have a community of like-minded people that I could bounce off and grow together. And this is why I've created, if you've not seen it, the 1000 Minds Challenge, which starts on the 1st of January 2026. We're going to meditate and visualize every day together. We've created accountability, so I will guide you every day, 20-30-minute sessions. And then we have a community of like-minded people where you can bounce off and meet new people that want to awaken. And the link and the info for that is literally underneath this video. There's nothing to sell. It's literally sign up, and you will just get information about when it starts on the 1st of January 2026. And that really is what this is all about. This video is talking about, awakening, the 4 stages of awakening, and then what we're going to do in 2026 to awaken. Because it's not going to happen by accident. You can't just sit at home on your ass and visualize a new life and it happens. In my experience, it doesn't work like that. Right now, right there is the ocean and the Thailand. And this house literally was a picture that I drew on a piece of paper. I'll make a video about this, but I drew it on a piece of paper 4 months ago, and then the builders built it and my landlady built it. But I had to take action. I had to take the risk of moving to Thailand without having a clue what I was doing. I had to invest money. I had to physically take action rather than just sit at home and hopefully it would all work out. And so we can go into 2026 next year, even though it's a year of awakening and millions of people will rise up in love and peace and power, not the ego power, politician power, but true power from your spirit. And we can just see what happens and go with the flow and fingers crossed. Or we can get strategic and we can design our destiny. We can say, this is who I'm going to become. This is what I want to do. And to be honest with you, it doesn't matter if you achieve the goals. It's who you become along the way. As Tony Robbins says, it's about the progress. If you're unhappy in life, it's because you're not growing. That's it. You're not going to be happy when you make the money or get the house in Thailand or meet your soulmate. There's going to be a lot of challenges when you get that. But what you will be happy about is the person that you've become along the way to turn that into a reality. In other words, it's an inside job. And as Tony Robbins said, that is the secret to life. It's all about progressing in life. Don't get stuck. Don't give up. Don't just sit down. This is why when people retire, they become unhappy. Or when people make millions and millions, they're still not happy. Because it was the pursuit. It was the journey. It's so cheesy, but the joy is in the journey, right? And so you can go into 2026, even though it's the year of a massive wobble of awakening and people are going to really transcend, and you can just hope that you'll go on that journey and wake up, but you won't. Or we can strategically design our destiny and reach our full potential together. Okay, so let's go into these 4 stages. I need to let the cat out again. She's playing. She knows I'm making a YouTube video. Come on. All right, so the four stages of awakening. The first one is the wobble. I've written here, it's the wobble of awakening. It starts with a wobble and life begins to feel a bit off. Now, maybe a relationship ends. You've been in a relationship for years and then the other person says, I don't love you anymore. Maybe you get fired from a job, even though it was a dead-end job and you didn't really like it, it sucked, but you get fired, you start to panic. Now, how can I pay my bills? How can I put food on the table? Maybe it's a life-threatening illness or a disease the doctor tells you. Or worse, maybe a loved one just dies unexpectedly. These hardships in life, these moments, they like slap us around the face, and for some they wake them up. You know, we have these hardships, we lose that, and then we got to wake up and sort our finances out, a new job. You know, we lose a loved one, and then we realize how important other people are, and we've got to tell each other that we love each other. You know, or maybe a relationship ends, and actually it rather than being a bad thing, it actually sets you free. However, for most people, I'd say probably 80% of the people, when those hardships or those wake-up calls, those wobbles happen, because they're immature in consciousness, their ego will attach to the way it was, and they want it to stay the same. And then they spin loads of stories, and that's what creates suffering. So in other words, they lose the job and they say, why does that happen to me? This is unfair. My boss is an arsehole. Or they have a relationship breakup, and then they blame the other person. The other person was toxic. The other person was narcissistic. And all stories create what I call suffering, because, you know, stories create suffering. There's no stories, there's no suffering. The best thing you can do when you're in this wobble of awakening is, when you have this wake-up call, is just on the chin, realize that that is part of life, and then you move on to the next relationship or to the next job. Or if somebody passes away, you feel the pain and the grief, but you got to get on with your life. Now, these are just very simple examples, because we all go through these, very tangible. There's also the wobble of awakening where you're on this journey, let's just call it personal growth, spirituality, whatever you want to label it. You're on this journey, and then all of a sudden you start to question everything. You start to question yourself. You start to question your purpose in life. You start to get a bit lost. And that wobble sometimes is a bit harder. For me it is, because the other wobbles, when you lose a job, when somebody dies, or when a relationship ends, it's like, that's just part of life. And you can understand how the ego suffers and it wants to cling, but you can get through that, right? The other wobble is when you start to have this ego death, or the ego, it just starts to have a kind of field day, and it's going crazy because you feel lost in life. And that's generally what I went through this year, 2025. You know, like I said, had loads of challenges in life, overcome loads of challenges, absolutely smashed it. And you know, in Thailand, living my best life. But my ego really just started to feel lost, started to feel very confused this year, started to lose my passion and my purpose, didn't know what was going on. And I just thank God for meditation and visualization and breathwork. I just sat with it, and I welcomed it in for a cup of tea, and I sat in the wobble, and I realized it was just another part of the ego dissolving. Still got lots of ego like everyone else, but there was another layer of my ego dissolving. But before it dissolved, I had to see the shadows. I had to have this wobble. And so I want to let you know this stage is just completely normal. Again, most people will be in this wobble of awakening for 5 years, 10 years, or their whole life. They will never realize that when the job ends, the relationship ends, when somebody passes away, or when your ego starts to kind of get confused and lost and fearful and doubting, it's actually a good sign that you're about to grow if you've got the right attitude. If you cling to it and you stay stuck, you'll be suffering for the rest of your life. So like, it's not failure if you're going through any of this. It's not a hardship to be cruel on you. It's the universe or life or nature just giving you an opportunity to wake up and go to stage 2. Now, stage 2 is the awakening shock. This is when you suddenly see that your attachment to the job, the relationship, or to the person, you basically see the programs and the conditioning, and you realize that as you start to wake up, maybe you look at society and you realize this path that you've been on, or this relationship that you was in a way, it was a bit of a lie. You know, the job, you was making all the money to pay for your bills, to do everything according to society to be happy, but you wasn't happy anyway. And you start to see beyond this illusion. You take your glasses off and you just see that everything's bonkers. You just see how mental these stories are that they've created in society. And millions of people are following those stories. But what's sad is that millions of people are following those stories and they're fighting each other because my story is better than your story, or your story is this. And it's just crazy. It creates division and conquer. It's how they conquer us, right? And so what we have to do is we have to awaken. I've got to sort the cat again, scratching the chair. So we have to see that this shock of awakening is also part of it. So first of all, you have the wobble, and that's when you don't really know what's going on, but you feel it emotionally, psychologically, it might affect your mental health, even your spiritual health, but then it's a shock. And for some people, this is why I've created a community. If I'm really, really honest, some people feel very alone. You might feel very isolated. You might feel like you're going through this all on your own. You start to feel depressed. Some people feel suicidal. Again, I'm not going to share it in this video, but in one of my next videos. Like 2025 was a year that I really had to overcome a lot of suicidal thoughts and a cloud of depression, which I didn't even know existed. I mean, I had it 20 years ago when I was taking drugs, but I knew why I felt depressed and why I felt suicidal, because I was taking drugs every day. And then to have it like all these 20 years later, when there's money in the bank, when I'm not taking drugs, I'm living in Thailand, and you see this stuff come up, it was scary. And I felt alone and I felt afraid, and I found it hard to reach out, which I did eventually, but it was a shock. It was for me, it was a massive shock to the system, because I thought I was doing everything right on this journey of growing, but something was still in my unconscious. My shadows were still there, and it brained me down a couple of pegs or two, and thankfully it woke me up even more. But you might be in this shock, this stage, where you look around and you just think this is crazy, or you might even start to challenge your own thoughts inside your head, the stories and the identity that you've got, and you realize you're not that person you thought you was. You're not all these stories, and it's scary. And so if you do feel isolated or you do feel alone, then please click that link below and join the 1000 Minds Challenge, because the whole point of creating this challenge isn't just to do meditation and visualization, it's also to create a community of people that can support each other, because we don't have to do this alone. We don't have to feel isolated. And some people, you know, they lose their lives and they listen to those voices, those suicidal thoughts and depressing moods, and it does take over. And I know that I've had that a number of times throughout my life, and I know how hard that can get. So please join that challenge and join a group of people that want to grow together. Now, the third stage, we call it the dark night of the soul. And they have this in the Hollywood movies. You know, you're watching a movie and then the hero starts to question themselves. They start to doubt themselves. Can I really be the hero? Can I really take the bad guys on? Should I really go on this journey and this quest? And everybody has that. And that's where it feels like everything is falling apart. The old world that you thought was real, it starts to fall apart, which is what we're going through right now. When you look at the news and you look at the media and you look at all these pesky politicians and all of these so-called leaders that are just fast asleep, it's like the world is falling apart. And when I say the world, I only mean society's version. Because when I look out here in the jungle in Thailand, it's just beautiful. Like, nature doesn't give a shit about what's going on in the news. Nature doesn't care about all these politicians. It's just growing, vibrating, and it's full of life. And that's why we've got to get out of that version of reality, because it is falling apart. And the way that we help it fall apart is that we come back to nature. We come back to the spirit. We come back to, like, whatever you want to believe in, higher power, the universe. And we start to really reconnect to that. And every movie that you watch, there's always a dark night of the soul moment for the hero. And we're all heroes in our own little journey, right? And then what happens? That hero gets that strength. That hero gets that courage. And then they take action. And then they beat the bad guys. Or they go on the journey and they find the map and they get the treasure. But that is part of the journey. And that hero's journey is priceless, you know? You're going to have moments, I know I have, moments like that on the hero's journey. There's going to be hundreds of them throughout your life. Hundreds of them. If you're on the journey of growth and transformation. If you're not, and you're stuck in that first stage, the wobble, you're just probably going to repeat patterns and go around in circles. But if you're watching this, you're not at that stage anymore. Maybe you've been there a number of times, but you're going through stages, and you might be at this stage, which is the dark night of the soul. This is the stage where you're going to question yourself. And this is the stage where you're going to have to dig deep and say that you can create what you want to create. This is where you're going to doubt yourself. This is when your ego is really going to feel exposed. I'll give you an example. I do a marketing and business coaching for people, and I've got a client at the moment that's about to make loads of videos for Instagram so she can share her message and sell her coaching program. And just cut a long story short, she messaged me, said, "Brett, I can't make the videos. I don't feel like I'm good enough. I'm watching everybody else. They can speak much better than me. Blah, 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 blah. Imposter syndrome." But that really is also her going through the dark night of the soul. And she's got two choices, like you, like me. She can either listen to the voices and all the bullshit and not take action and not become the hero in her journey, or she can suck it up, listen to it all, and yeah, it's a pain in the ass, and no, it doesn't feel good, but she takes action in spite of it. And she continues to take action, she continues. And in my experience, that stuff is always there. If you're always somebody that wants to grow, reach your full potential and awaken, there's always going to be something holding you back. There will be fear, there will be doubt. That's from your own bloody ego. There'll always also be fear and doubt from your friends, your family, from society, because the nature of the ego, or the nature of the society they've created, is to keep us in these familiar patterns. You know, we're not afraid of the unknown. We're afraid of losing the known. In a weird way, that comfort zone, even though it's not comfortable sometimes, it's like it's more comfortable than going into the uncertainty, into the confusion. But everybody knows that's where the growth happens. That's where success truly happens. So the third stage is the dark night of the soul. It's when you're going to doubt yourself. It's going to, like, challenge you. And most people think that they're breaking down, but really it's your breakthrough. Now, the fourth stage, this is one of those days where you just wake up and you just start to embody this person that you truly are, beyond the voices in your head, beyond society's version of reality, and connect to what I call your spirit. And again, spirit isn't like Casper the Friendly Ghost. Spirit isn't like something you can tangibly hold, like willpower or motivation. And it's not your name, the identity, the story that you've been given and told who you are. Your spirit is in a different dimension. And again, I'm not really into all the woo-woo shit, I'm just common sense. There's something that's making your heart beat. There's something that's making your lungs breathe. And it's the same spirit that's making the tree grow, or a dog wag its tail, a baby giggling, a cat purring or wanting to go out in the rain. There's something, a spirit, and call it energy, call it infinite intelligence, is my favorite word. And some people call it higher power, some people call it God. I just call it spirit because I like the word. Infinite intelligence is what keeps your heart pumping. You're not thinking about it, but it's going ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Okay, spirit is what's keeping this whole organism called planet Earth alive. The universe is alive through some kind of energy or spirit. And we're never going to work out what that is. We're never going to, even the word spirit and we're trying to describe it, just they're a million miles away from what it truly is. If you want my advice, like, you close your eyes and you just feel it. You don't need to label it or understand it, but if you feel it, you'll know exactly what it is. It's like trying to describe the taste of a coconut to somebody who's never tasted a coconut. You can say it's nice and refreshing, it's dehydrating, but the only way you're ever going to know what a coconut tastes like is when you sip the coconut and you taste it. And that's the same as the spirit. That's the same as stage number 4, the embodiment. You really reconnect with it and you start to feel different. You start to see your ego and the name you are and the personality that you've been living and the lies that you've been telling yourself for years, and it's not scary so much. It starts to fade away into the background because the spirit gets stronger. You start to feel this spirit, and it doesn't matter when other people criticize the ego, or you feel like you need to defend whatever it is your ego is trying to defend. All of that starts to fade away. And that's how we're going to make the world a better place, because if you look at it, the only thing that's causing all the war and the carnage and the chaos and the addiction and the suffering is what? It's the ego. It wants to cling to the pain. It wants to defend its country. It wants to keep these invisible borders alive, so we're all separate. And that is what is creating carnage in the world, right? But not just collectively, on an individual level. It's the battle that we've all got going on every single day. It's that battle of the ego and the spirit. Basically your head and your heart. And we have to sink from the head into the heart. I love what the Buddha calls it. He calls it your Bodhi nature. It's the softness inside you. It's not your name, it's not your body, it's not the voices inside your head. It's a softness. And we call it spirit. And that's the 4 stages of awakening. First of all, there's this wobble. You're gonna you have a lot of confusion. You might lose your job, a relationship will break up, it's just gonna be crazy, and you're gonna feel overwhelmed and scared. Then you're gonna go into the shock. Because it's like, wow, that was I was in this relationship with this person and I thought I was going to be married to her for the rest of my life, or him. Or I thought the job was going to help me pay my pension and pay my mortgage. And then all of a sudden you're in this shock. The second stage is the shock, because that just disappears. Or like you wake up and you're the insanity of humanity, and you realize that they've fed us a story for so many years and it's a lie. It's like a shock to see it. And then you come to the next stage, which is the dark night of the soul. This is when you muster up courage and the confidence and the power within you to change your life, or maybe make a difference. You help other people wake up. More importantly, you just you get a new job, or you get over that relationship, or you if somebody's passed away, and you become the hero, the dark night of the soul. You become the hero of your journey, and then 6 later, there's another dark night of the soul, and then another dark. But every time you go through that transformation, you transcend into a higher level of consciousness. In other words, you become more, which is the 4th stage, of your spirit. You embody who you truly are, beyond your name, beyond the voices inside your head, beyond what your parents have told you, who you're going to be and what you're going to do with your life, beyond the bullshit story society has told us, what we're meant to be doing with life. We connect to true spirit. And that is beautiful. It's like the best buzz in the world. And that's what 2026 is all about. 2026 is the Great Awakening. It's about people reconnecting to that spirit at a higher level. And we're going to go through these 4 stages over and over and over and over again. But I can promise you something, every year gets better and better. Even though 2025 for me was such a struggle. It was like so crazy to go through all the mental health stuff. and the emotional stuff, but now my spirit feels 10,000 times stronger. I feel 10,000 times more connected to infinite intelligence. I feel 10,000 times more positive about sharing this message with people. I feel 1,000 times tongue tire more motivated to make videos, because I had to get rid of the old shadows and the self that was there holding me back, that I didn't even know was sabotaging me for years. And again, that's without the drugs. That's without coming out of prison. That's just like day-to-day life. It just really came up. And so I know exactly how you feel if you're going through a wobble right now. I know exactly what it's like if you feel really shocked and just the world has just been pulled beneath your feet. I know exactly what it feels like if you are on this journey, but you feel like you're tired and you can't keep going anymore and you're in that dark night of the soul. And I can promise you that when you get to stage 4, it's the best buzz in the world. And that's my mission for 2026, is to help you get to that stage and then share it with your friends and your family in the world, or just enjoy that buzz, that spiritual buzz, which is inside every single human being on this planet, inside you right now. It's keeping your heart alive. The cells inside your body are absolutely buzzing with infinite intelligence that wants you to manifest more miracles, that wants you to live in more joy and more happiness. Because the more we raise that vibration, the more we raise the bar, the better this world becomes for each other. So in a weird way, you've got to become very selfish in 2026 so that you can become a very selfless person. When you become selfish, you focus on your journey. You remove all of the rubble. You let go of all of these old programs and egos that have been holding millions of people back for thousands of years, and you step into your soul, into your spirit, whatever you want to call it. And then by becoming that person, naturally you just share it with others, because it's so joyful. You just want to give it back. Okay, so they're the 4 stages of awakening. 2026 is going to be an incredible year. Millions will be left behind and they will stay stuck in the illusion it's going to get worse. But millions of us are going to wake up and step into this higher level of consciousness and higher level of love, higher level of health, wealth, and happiness. And if you want to join us, literally click that link below. Every day in January, we're going to be doing a live guided visualization and meditation. We also have workshops every Sunday. We have a community, we have a book club. And at the moment, again, it's literally sign up, join the waiting list, and I'll send you more information before the 1st of January. Okay, but remember, these are the 4 stages of awakening. Whatever you do after this video, I really want you to take this away, is that wherever you are, whatever stage you're at right now is exactly where you're meant to be. I know it's corny and a bit cheesy, but you're going through exactly what you're meant to be going through, because you're meant to be growing through it to the high level of potential that you've really got. Like, no matter where you are right now on this journey, it is a gift. And if you just take that in and you think this is not a setback, this is a setup, this is not a breakdown, this is a breakthrough, this is helping me carve out a new character so I can become the person I know I can become, your life will be incredible. And 2026 is going to pull you towards a destiny that you wake up every day and happy about. You're happy about it. You're just buzzing and joyful because you're alive, becoming the version of you that you know you can become. But before you do that, you got to see where you're at right now, what stage you're at. It might be fear, it might be addiction, it might be confusion, it might be suicide, it might be depression, it might be anger, sadness, grief. You just got to take that, welcome it in for a coconut or a cup of tea. Just invite these feelings and this wobble in, just let it come in, and then get to know it, understand it, and then you can grow through it, all right? And if you wanted to do more of that stuff, click that link below. We'll go through it. I'll share you all these meditations and visualizations in 2026. It's gonna be an incredible year. I'm committed now to making at least one video every week on my YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe. Any comments, any questions, leave them below, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.